Okay, so part two. Part two to this story, I guess. I just kind of want to hear myself think today. Is it that hard to conceptualize that a soul walk-in can happen? Someone can die and then go to the light on the other side and be told by the divine, by God's source energy, by consciousness, by the I am presence, by whatever source is, whatever God is, whatever goodness is, whatever love is, be given an option. Either way, my twin flame was going to be given the option at death when he took his own life in prison. He was told, either help Jenna on the other side as a spirit guide, or you can go and help her. And it's weird because I'm just now seeing it as I speak out loud. I'm just now hearing how that's what happened at my near-death experience. My higher self, if you are a true twin flame, you're the same soul. So that day is when my soul and his soul came into form in the 3D, which explains a lot. I mean, I divorced 3 months later. I left my family. I started a business. I lost a whole bunch of weight. Because I wasn't the same person. My taste buds changed. Allergies left. I'm a totally different soul. And that was during the Virgo full supermoon in 2019. So I was 29 years old. It was 2 in the 2019. So 2/9, just all the way through. And I'm a Virgo moon. So it was really weird. And my near-death experience, and then everything changed. I changed. Everybody started wondering why she's so different. She's throwing tarot all of a sudden, and she's talking about God. She's talking about the divine and how she knows shit. She's talking out of her ass and looking crazy, and people started judging me because I went from this girl who was a pushover. I mean, I was bullied. I was a doormat. At my highest weight, I was 415 pounds. I had gained 200 pounds in my marriage. That is a pretty hefty, full-size grown man. And I gained that in one marriage. Yep. So I hated my life. I was an alcoholic. I was a drug addict, sex addict. I was any kind of addict. I just loved getting high and avoiding my problems. And I mean, it led to that. It led to that awakening in 2019. So during that event, I died. I saw my funeral. I saw my husband burying me. I saw him on the phone with his mom crying the day of my funeral. I saw all of it. And I'd been with him almost a decade. And in all that time, I never knew he loved me until I was dead and out of my body, and I saw the future. And that's when I realized I love this man too, and I can't do this anymore. He deserves to know love. I deserve to know love. This isn't working. So yeah, started getting papers signed. We started making plans, arrangements. Yeah, like 3 months later. So here's the craziest part, though. Well, I mean, that's pretty fucking crazy, but here's another crazy part. My out-of-body experience, my near-death experience was so invasive. It changed the course of my whole life that day. I started getting psychic gifts that day. I started seeing the zeros and ones in the Matrix that day. That day, I started seeing everything as a computer program. Legit, I saw it all. I saw everything that this system was that day. And I remember going for a whole month, like 3 to 4 weeks, just, I mean, apologizing, making amends to everybody, like, oh my God, even my mother-in-law, which was so tough. You know that shit's tough. I apologized to her profusely. I cried. Everyone, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I did this whole, like, purging of my soul, like a release of all pain and sadness and suffering. And it worked, I guess, because I was so high vibrationally after doing that to everyone. I mean, everyone that I was in contact with that I felt I had hurt in some way got an apology. And in 1 month, I met my twin flame, which now it makes sense. I was vibrationally aligned to meet him. But at the time, you know, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I was super big that day. I was so high as a kite. And I remember I was in pitch black in the living room. And my husband was sleeping because he worked during the day and I was up third. So we tried to avoid each other like the plague. So I remember I was super high, playing video games at 2 a.m. with really great ambitions and life goals. That's sarcasm for no plans at all. And I remember I just was swaying in the living room like this, with my eyes closed and my hands just like up like this, a month after my near-death experience, right? And for the first time ever, I said, fine, God, you win. You always win. You always win. What the fuck ever. Fine. I need a divorce. Fine then. And it's the first time I ever said the D word. It's the first time I'd ever said the word divorce about my husband because I thought we were destined forever. I look at it now and I'm like, why would you ever think that? You never even saw the future with this guy. But, you know, back then you do things and whatever. Anyway, and by this point, I was a month into my spiritual gifts, my psychic gifts, my abilities. I didn't know yet what to do with them, but I definitely knew I had them. And so I'm sitting there with my palms, I'm standing straight up in the living room, kind of like swaying back and forth like something was taking over my body for the better. It was almost like the Holy Spirit was, well, getting me to release something. And all of a sudden, because I felt the Kundalini, like the Kundalini energy in your spine, the what they call the serpent that's on your spine. Anyway, long story, gonna get there another day. But yeah, I felt that working its way up, right? Girl, I was so baked, I was so high that I could feel vibrationally my twin. I didn't know, though, that I had a twin flame, really, so much. I mean, I knew that I had a soulmate or someone on the other side. I'd seen him in dreams and shit for, like, about 11 years now. I've been seeing him in dreams and stuff. But I didn't know that he, like, existed in the 3D. I didn't know he was real in this world. I just knew I had dreams of some really hot guy who somehow is, like, I've known him for eternity. But I had no idea how. So anyway, I say those words, fine, I need a divorce. Fine, I'm done. 4 hours later, yes, at 6 a.m. about, I freaking meet my twin flame on a video game, which was the only thing really that had me to the outside world at all, because I was a monk by this point. Yeah, I had been, like, no joke, a hermit monk. My best friends were ants and birds outside. I was legit Snow White. I could sing into a mop while cleaning the house, and I would look out my window and birds would perch on the fence to watch me sing to them. It was the best time of my life. I loved getting that high. It was so fun. You turned into Snow White. But yeah, so all of a sudden I meet my twin flame on this video game, and he was like, so it was the only game we ever played was Rocket League. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that game. It was the only game either of us ever played because it was non-violent and it's just fun. Duh. Anyway, but yeah, it was non-violent. We didn't like that. So I'm sitting there, right? So baked, just gone, honey. Like, I'm fucking gone, okay? And I'm just in my own lane playing this game. And there's like a team of 3 or 4 people. I'm on a team of 3 or 4. He's on a team of 3 or 4. And all of a sudden, he's like sending this message to the chat, because I used to say, I love you guys all the time, just to trigger people, because people are cruel. And they would always be like, shut the fuck up, just play your game. Shut up, we don't like you. I'd be like, I love you guys. You're so great. Bet your moms are proud. No, that's what I used to do. It was real fun. Anyway, I would do that. And every time I ever did it, people would just be like, go fuck yourself. Don't ever talk to me again. Shut up and just play the game, bitch. Very fun. 11:11 on the clock. But see, here's the difference. That day, that morning, I saw this response on the other team, and it was him, and he said, I love you too. I was like, wait, what? Where's the F-U-B? F-U. Where's that? I was expecting it, but nah. He said, I love you too. And I was like, okay, thanks so much. Good luck, on your team, because you're going to need it, bitch. Anyway, mopped the floor with him. It was really great. And then I got this invite. And he started inviting me to this party chat. It was him and like 4 friends or something. And girl, I was so high. I'm like, I'm not answering that. So he sent an invite, and it was like, hey, chat party with me and my friends. And I'm like, no thanks. And then he would send it again. No thanks. Send it again. I just kept ignoring it, but I'm like fucking baked though. So I'm getting all these signs and these messages from spirit. I'm like, hey, do something. You are supposed to fucking click accept. And I'm like, nope. I don't socialize with humans. I only talk to chihuahuas and dead people, and that's it. Finally, he messaged and was like, hey, I think you're really cool, and you've obviously got skills, so we could use another player. Come on over. And I was like, no, is this for real? Is this dude for real? So anyway, I finally decide to just boss up, and I enter the chat party, and I happen to join at just the right time where he's like laughing with his friends, and I heard him speak, like mid-sentence. I show up mid-sentence when I'm hearing him speak to his friends. And I knew within one sentence that was the guy I had been dreaming about for a decade about. I knew. And I mean, within one sentence, I knew his voice, I knew his mannerisms, I knew everything. In fact, the first thought I ever had, and this is where it gets a little weird. This is where, this is where a lot of people would probably be like, that's creepy. That's kind of gross. My biological dad, he gave me up for adoption when I was 2 years old. I met him again later when I was 18. I lived with him and his family for a few months because I was kicked out of my house. It was that or homelessness. So I actually lived with my biological dad, and so I knew his voice. And they have the same voice. It's the weirdest thing. I know what you're thinking. It's so fucking creepy and a little gross. But I remember saying to myself, the first sentence I heard him speak, this guy, I said to myself, holy shit, that's my dad. What? And oh man, I was like, I got all these flashbacks. I got all these dreams. I got like, boom, 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 boom. It was like download from download. Like I barely even said hello, and I was already getting like, in the show That's So Raven, when she's like, And she gets all these visions and dreams and downloads and shit. That's exactly what happened to me. I was like, oh my God, overload. This dude and I, past lives within one sentence. Hi. Holy shit. You're a girl? Well, that was one of his friends that said that, not him. I think he probably already knew, or I don't know. But he didn't seem fazed at all. He's like, oh my God, you're a girl? His friend said it. Yes. Well, I mean, last I checked. And I remember I was talking and I could just tell this guy was studying my voice. He was analyzing my voice within seconds. And I'm just like, hi. Okay, great game. Yeah. So like, what did you want? Yeah, no, I was so shy. It was so weird because like normally actually back then I was pretty shy. Now I'm not, but it doesn't seem normal. But I was like really not sure what to do. And he was so silent. He was just sitting there quietly observing me. All his friends though were like, oh my God, she's a girl. Can you fucking believe that? She schooled us, man. She floored us. And then he was like, so, you play this game often? Because you're pretty good. And I don't know how, but this dude knew too. I just was like, what the fuck is happening? What is this? What is this? I even asked him in front of all his friends who are definitely not, I think, believers in love. And I was just like, can I just ask, like, what is this? You know? He's like, I don't know, man. I'm pretty fucking high right now. So I was like, okay, me too. And I don't know what's happening, but it's weird, right? He's like, yeah, I agree. I kind of agree with you. This is a little weird. And his friends were like, why? I don't get it. And we both just knew, like, I don't know, a glitch in the matrix or some shit. But all of his friends were like, I don't understand. Do you want to trade? Do you want to play? Like, let's play. And me and him were just like, no, we don't want to play. We don't want to play. I just want to talk. So he started kind of going all out right in front of his friends who I think were not expecting it because this dude was such a Casanova. Like he's a bachelor and everybody knew it, and he had all these girls that would chase him, and like he's a good looking guy and he's a fucking musician too. Come on, ladies. I mean, blonde shaggy hair, like sexy as hell, right? Oof. And a musician. Yeah, anyway, dangerous. So he was like, well, I don't want to play anymore. I want to talk to Jenna. And his friends were like, what the fuck? I don't get it. Like, what? We were playing. We were having a fun time. He's like, nah, I just want to chill. And we talked for so long that like, it's like everything else kind of just like faded out. And everybody else was just like, okay, something's going on here. We don't know what it is, but we're out. Like, we don't even want to be here either. Then you two get a room. This is weird. So they left, and it was just us two. So we started talking about dreams. The first time we met a random stranger, and I was like, hey, so I just want you to know you've been in my dreams for like a really long time. He started talking about how he thinks he knows me. He said the first thing that really gave it away for me was that he verbatim said, oh yeah, we're past life soulmates 100%. Like, he legit said that in English, verbatim. I mean, I didn't even believe in soulmates. And he's like, yo, yeah, we're past life soulmates 100%. Just like, no qualms about it. Just like, yeah, no, that's definitely truth. It's like, no. I was like, who the fuck are you, bro? Who is this? What are we doing? are we dead? So the next day, I bet we were broke. I mean, I couldn't even wait. I couldn't even wait to play again. I couldn't even wait to talk to him again. Oh my God, I was so excited. Oh, it was so fun. And then, so we had like a few, like maybe a week, 2 weeks, something like that, of just like non-stop, just like laser focused energy on one another. And that is when all the karma and bullshit got stirred up. All these friends that were attached to him, they were certainly starting to feel the energy shift. Him pouring all of his love, attention, energy into me was causing problems in my marriage, which again, of course, it was already pretty bad. It was already horrible, to be honest. But then his friends started attacking me. I remember one day I was high yet again, and my dogs were barking while we were playing our video game, all of us in the party chat. And my dogs were barking. I'm like, hang on, guys, I gotta go take my dogs outside. And he's like, oh man, you gotta go. I was like, no, I'll be right back. I was like, they just have to pee, or they saw Bigfoot. I'm not sure. Maybe they just saw Bigfoot. He chuckled, but then everybody else was like, that's fucking weird. Like, who says that? Well, I mean, first of all, I was high. Second of all, I felt really, really comfortable in this guy's presence, and I just wanted to be myself. And, I mean, I thought it was funny. I mean, it was a joke. I mean, unless it's real. Maybe Bigfoot's real out of shit. I don't know. If it's real, my dogs would have found it. So I get up, go take the dogs out to go pee. And as I come back, I overhear his friends gossiping about me. He's like, man, I don't know. I think this girl's leading you down a bad path. I think she's not at all who she claims to be. I think that you guys, I think you're doing something stupid and reckless. And plus she's married. This is dumb. You need to stop. And I overheard it. And I was just, oh man, because we had been friends too. Like I had been friends with those guys, you know. I came back, and I don't know if he ever thought that I heard it, but I heard it. My heart, it just sank. And that's when it basically ended. In the same fashion that when I was living with my dad, my stepmom accused me of stealing their car to get me out of the house. She was karmic, you know? They had karmic attachments, these men. They could never love me for very long. Not without stirring up some trouble in these people that they attach themselves to. So my husband started taking it out on me. He'd get frustrated, come home and verbally abuse me, and he was starting to feel that my energy was going elsewhere too. Then there was the whole, a whole group chat party, like 3 or 4 men that were feeling his energy pull away. When you get used to somebody giving you that much time, attention, and energy, you're going to be able to sense when they're not giving it to you anymore. You're going to make mistakes at work. You're going to stub your toe. You're going to get a flat fucking tire. Something's going to happen because you don't have the energy anymore. So we pretty much ended it. He just started, pulling away and ghosting me, really. Ghosting. I didn't even know ghosting was a thing, really, until that guy. Yeah, ghosting. He just kind of pulled away, stopped inviting me into the party, and I just got this feeling that, I'm not welcome anymore. And so I went like about 2 or 3 months, feeling heartbreak and pain, and knowing that there was this guy that I knew I was supposed to be with, but I couldn't. I certainly wasn't going back to my husband. Intimacy with my husband stopped. Anytime he would try to approach me, and this happened after my near-death experience. Like anytime my husband would, try to initiate things in the bedroom, I was repulsed. Not because he's not a good-looking man, but because I wasn't the same soul. It felt like a violation in a way. It felt like, it felt like cheating, really. It felt like cheating. And that's the weirdest way, because I know I was married, but it felt like cheating. So he started to notice this. I wasn't, doing anything with them anymore. Even though we were arguing and on opposite shifts, at least still I was, before my near-death experience, at least we were still intimate. But yeah, no, it just stopped, and I was like, I want a divorce. I met my twin, and then I filed for divorce. And I think everybody in my family, in my community, it was the first time that a woman had ever been able to really get divorced in my family. No woman had really, not proudly anyway, and not independently. I had $300 to my name, no car. I had no family, no friends, nobody that was willing to take me in at the time. But I still knew it was right. I still knew I needed to leave. And they'd already seen me shift and turn into a completely different woman. And now here I am saying, I don't want this marriage anymore. And we'd been together almost a decade. So yeah, the whole community, my husband was very prominent in the community, like a go-to guy. Everyone looked up to him. He was very rich and powerful. And so for everybody to look at us like there must be something wrong that they're not talking about, he got even more angry at me because now I was making him look bad. So the abuse really kicked up. So not only did I have to lose my twin flame and know that the one I wanted doesn't want me anymore. On top of that, I had to go through a divorce, a move 700 miles away, and I had to go live with my parents in a spare bedroom. My parents abused me as a kid too, so here I was having to go relive childhood trauma all over again as well. So I was just like, it was like the worst, and then in 2019 happened, and collectively, as my pain seemed to get worse, ironically, it's not really ironic, it's as above, so below, the whole world started going to hell in a handbasket too, to kind of match my emotion, to match my sadness. I entered a reality where everyone was sad, everyone was miserable, everyone was oppressed, everyone was feeling restricted, like you can't do shit. Everything was mirroring me. I didn't realize how powerful I was as a manifester. I didn't realize what I am, right? Who we all are, what all we can do in changing shit, even weather, guys. You can change weather with your thoughts. Like you could change anything with your fucking thoughts. And I didn't know I was that powerful. So anyway, I remember this broke my fucking heart. I finally divorced, right? And then I moved 700 miles away to my parents and start paying them rent. Because in the divorce settlement, which was pennies compared to what he actually has. But anyway, I got a 13-year-old car in the marriage, or in the divorce, and then I got some money to sustain me to pay rent to my parents as I tried to figure out my business, right? So I get all the way down south, and about a week or so, maybe moving in with my parents, I texted my twin flame and I said, hey, I just wanted you to know, I was serious when I said I was getting divorced. I'm divorced, 100% done. And he was like, wow, I'm really happy for you. And we talked for a second about like how good I feel and I'm about to like, maybe really change my life. And he's like, I hate to tell you this, but I actually met somebody recently, so I won't be able to do this, I'm not going to be able to talk to you anymore. But yeah, they were already pretty serious because she'd already lived with him. Well, she was getting the key. She was about to get the key to his place. And I was like, oh my God. Oh, fuck. Like, I was way off base. I was way off base with this. I was way off base. And next thing I know, yeah, she's like moving in, and I happened to overhear him one day. I don't know how. Oh, yeah, I knew his YouTube. I knew he had a YouTube. He was a YouTuber just like me. So, but I helped people with spirituality because, again, I was starting my business and I already had my gifts. So I was trying to help people who were going through the same thing that I was going through. And, but yeah, his YouTube, I already knew it. And so I would watch him stream with his buddies, and I heard him say, yeah, we're living together and it's going really good. You know, she's really into me. This is kind of nice. And I just was like, okay, this is, wow, I'm done. I need to focus on other things. And it killed me. You know, I was just like, oh God, what is this? Why did I do any of this? Well, first of all, I did it for me. First of all, I left a toxic marriage because I love myself. And now I see that. But at the time, I was so unhealed. I'd been abused for so long by narcissists, by every narcissist in my whole life. It was all narcissists. So yeah, I needed healing. I needed time. But I had to do it alone. So I started my business. I started meeting other women who were going through the same thing. We started helping each other. My clients would come in and share their twin flame story with me, and I would tell them this story, and it just made me feel less alone, and it made them feel less alone, and it was really nice to see that it was all for a purpose in some way. So fast forward, I start getting black magic. He starts sending dark things to me. I started realizing he's dabbling. He'd already been pretty into that. Like the first time I met him, he was telling me about astrology, about planets, like reading my chart. Like he was already spiritual, already far more advanced than me. But now it had taken a turn. It had taken a turn for the worst. And I was the brunt of it. I got the brunt of it. I started realizing that he was casting spells on me. I think that he was with this girl, but thinking of me, I'm deducing it down that that's what I think was happening. And so I was getting the brunt of the darkness. And so, I don't know, I started seeing like hordes of flies. Like Lord of the Flies is a real thing, guys. Incubus, demonic attack. I saw a Slender Man, alien abduction. I've had these like invisible forces sexually assault me several times. Over a dozen times I've been sexually assaulted in the astral plane. And it was so bad that I had no other choice but to go to God. I had no other choice. Nothing else would work. So I had to learn in the darkness of it all the while still starting a business, all the while still healing trauma from my parents that was being triggered because I lived with them, all the while healing from heartache from a marriage. It's like a divorce. It's like, God damn, how did I stay alive? I have no idea. I'm the strongest person I've ever met, to be completely real with you. But yeah, I had to do unimaginable things to get out of unimaginable pain. And so it's only just now getting better, but I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes. I think I'm going to do a part 3 to this morning. I'll see you guys in a second.